just don't have, we just don't have that kind of volatility right now. I mean, beyond this one big day and this one red day, we haven't had necessarily any heat in the market, but that's okay. The market's just grinding higher. The one thing to remember is that all the dips are getting bought in it. It's just a matter of, playing selective stocks. So even while the market's been kind of flat, because it's been gapping up and we haven't had necessarily like a huge amount of range, there has been range in select names. So right now, where the action is in a lot of the IPO names. So keep top of the list. We have this JMIA. This thing was a heater on Friday. This is they're saying it's the Amazon of Africa or something. That's what they said, right? You got a decent sized gap up on it. I won't chase this gap up, but if it starts to pull back, you get a pullback to the 9 or something like that. I think something like that should have a chance. There's some couple other IPO names. This PD is the same type of deal. Don't chase it up, but it's working really well on dips and weakness. If you start to see the rounding, that's when these things start to go. TW is another one that's got just crazy, crazy good momentum. This one is going to need probably a pullback towards the 40 spot before we can enter it or even want to look at it, because it is a little bit extended, but it's got the range and it's in the right sector. Tuffin is another one. Rocked into the close. It was stuck at that 20 spot all day on Friday, and we broke over it into the close, and now we're kind of opening up strong. Watch this one for dips too. The liquidity dried out a little bit on this one, so if it's not there, if it doesn't fire off 500,000, 600,000 shares in the beginning, then I'll probably just leave this one alone. PCG had a pop. It started about 2 p.m., ran up a couple dollars here, $3. We got a weak open on this one. Watch this one for a red to green. If the trend sets on this one, we'll have to ride this one, right? So watch if it goes red to green and that trend starts to set, right? Starts to hold over that VWAP type of area. This is something we want to participate in. You had 26.6 million shares in volume on Friday, so 2.5 times its normal, so it's a high relative volume, which is good. I like this one a lot. mRNA, it's opening up strong. You've got a nice support here at 24, along with the 9 EMA. I think that this one, it had a very orderly low volume pullback. You can see the volume bars were about half the size as the days it was going up. That's what you want to see when you're looking at volume, right? Is this the down days smaller than the up days, right? If that is, then it's indicating that the stock is under accumulation versus distribution. This one has a really good range, and we do have potential to get this thing back up into the 30 spot. Big ranges on MOH and AT&M. This one, if you start to pop these things, at the open, watch these things for green to red. You had a big range on this thing on Friday, along with AT&M. This thing is, it's dropped about 50 bucks in the last couple days. We're right sitting on support. If we break back under the support, I think that, you could start to flush back again for a day 3 move. Ideally, though, I see this one kind of, if it can pop up and get jammed into kind of this 260 zone, I think that's where I'd start to look at potentially a short to kind of come back into the range. I'd prefer not to chase it. We've got a flat open on it, so we'll have to see which way the trend kind of sets on it before we make a decision. The range on it should be pretty big today, though. Dun, 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 dun. Disney's already making a move pre-market. Watch the high from Friday. So that's about 131-ish. Hit 131, it faded back $5, but if it could start to make its move and grind higher, watch this one at 131. If it breaks over it, we can start looking at it for potential patterns. Anything under, I'm not interested, right? When we think about ranges, right, we need the range to clear before you start looking at your intraday patterns on it. Does have some good range on it, though. BVHN, hold on, my TC froze. There it goes. BVHN was a big ranger on Friday. You had midday news, and it popped up. It held the VWAP, popped up. You can see these pops are like $5, right? So that's what we want to see. Like, does a stock have the ability to move dollars once we get in, right? We want to see range in these type of names, and we've got a nice range on this one. Watch the liquidity, though. It did 5 million shares on Friday, but, you know, if we don't start getting into that range again, it could be a dud. And, you know, if it's like just trading a few 100,000, it's not going to work for us, right? We need to have that liquidity, get the proper sizing in on that one. But otherwise, it looks really good. I got excess on watch for a breakout over 96. This one always has good range. You've got the third test on it. It may need another day to rest, just let the 90 EMA catch up, but it's getting up there pretty close. I think that this one's got a chance on it too. And then ICPT also. You know, we've got 2 big down days on this one. If you get a big flush, then we'll look for a rebound for a potential day 3 rubber band long. But if this thing starts to pop like it is at the open, then, you know, I'll watch more into that 99 to 100 range for a potential short. So if it flushes at the open, then I'm looking long. If it pops up at the open green strong, then I'll be looking for more of a reshort on it. So always 2 different ways. A day 3 is always tricky. If it comes down into the hole, you can't short it. But if it pops up and relieves that rubber band a little bit, then you can short it. Let the trend set. Once that trend sets, watch the VWAP areas, right? If you start to get too extended one way or the other, it can snap back. Fun and junk. Junk. This FSCC has a nice pre-market trend on it. It's already gapping up like, man, this is going to be almost a double, right? Or 50, 75%. Does have good volume on it. You're starting to see 200,000 share candles pop on this thing, which is what you want to see, right? You want to see that pre-market volume. The ones that go bonkers out of these little guys are usually the ones that do $1 million plus in volume pre-market, which we're already seeing. So I think that this one's got a chance. And then watch this RH for a potential short. You know, after the earnings, it got down to $100. Now we've had a $20 dead cat bounce into the 20 SMA. You got a reversal bar on Friday. I think that this one has still potential to fall, you know, maybe curl back towards 100. Watch this. This is kind of a head and shoulders pattern right here, right? Anytime you see that, like, what looks like a middle finger, that's a head and shoulders, essentially. So watch this 115.50. If we break under here at some point, I think that this one will continue back down to the downside. You can add fun to the list too. I don't plan on trading this, but I know some of you guys like these. It's starting to curl off that 5. You got a gap up today. I don't know if it's even on news. It just seems to gap up a lot. But it looks like Funware signs deal with endpoint, monetize, blah, 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 blah. So it should have, it's got some type of news out. It is holding up fairly well, so we'll keep an eye on this one too. I think that this one may have a chance. I personally probably not going to play this one, but the liquidity should be okay on it. I still expect a spread, but it's got fresh news out today. And with the float being so low, you know, you can come in and get some of these, you know, some of these guys kind of start moving this thing around. And if it does, we'll hop on and ride that trend. So think about IPOs, and then think about the big rangers of ICPT, Mo, AT&M. Let the trend set on these bad boys, and we should have more than enough range in a lot of stocks. Disney's already starting to make its move too. So we got more than enough names of these bad boys to get going. Man, I was hoping this thing would wait for us, but it is not. Good. Hey, Mr. Obey, how are you, sir? Mr. King. Hassan, what's up? Jacob, how's work? Sweet. Guys, a lot of hot ranges in this market, so, you know, don't blow all your mental capital at the open. There's more than enough time to come in and start shredding these things. We just got to wait for the trend to set, and once it does, we'll be able to participate and let it tell us which way the market wants to go. Good, 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 good. All right, let's do what we got to do. Let's have a little fun. I think we're going to have a good day, all right? I'll be in the chat room if anybody needs me.